drawing boards, canvas, business model canvas. Did you try and input into other blocks?
Yes.
Um, what about value proposition canvas? Did you manage to capture the pains, gains? Yeah? Well done. I'll come around and take a look at this one by one. Before that, let's start with day 3. I think so far it's been okay. We're managing to learn something new about how to look at business. Okay? This is a kind of alternative perspective to understand how businesses function from a very fundamental point of view. So, business model canvas we looked at has 9 core blocks. We are attempting to understand one by one. Okay? So far we covered 6 blocks until yesterday. Today we are going to cover the remaining 3 blocks and make it all 9. Okay? And we are going to venture out and understand how business models can be improved further, how to achieve business model innovation, and ideate as a group who has ventured out into setting up a new company or a startup. Right? We'll do a very quick recap, and then we go on to understand how you link the blocks in your business model canvas. Okay? What it says is basically you can't leave out elements floating around. Each of them has to be linked with the other, particularly from customer segments through to value propositions. You need to have a clear link between each item. Also, we are not here to write about essays in that business model. So we can have simple bullet points which capture the essence of what you're trying to offer to your customer and which customer. So if you have a particular value proposition, that should be directed at a particular customer segment. Okay, that is what we mean by connection. And that should go through the revenue streams. I'll show you how to do this very simply. Before that, we look at linking blocks. Okay, roughly about 20 minutes. I allow you to spend some time try to link your current business model canvas. Then we look at the remaining 3 blocks, which is key activities, key partners, and cost structure. Then we go into understanding how researchers have come across or found out there are different patterns that are emerging in business models. Okay, so that gives us a sense of what is happening outside and what can we learn when setting up a new business. Right? In that we look at long tail pattern and open business model pattern, which is very interesting. Then I'll let you spend some time on your business model canvas again. So that's the agenda for today. Let's start off with understanding how we link blocks. Okay. So this is a very interesting example. Flickr, has anyone come across Flickr? Okay, it's a photo sharing app. Nowadays, because of Insta or Facebook or other apps, I don't think you are using much of this, but I think this was pretty old in itself, and this is mainly targeted at people who are into photography. Okay, and this provides you some kind of a free space to upload your photos. It's like a cloud space, and then you can edit your photos and all that. But let's start with the value proposition. Okay, should we start with value proposition or customer segments? Let's try to understand customer segments first, like we did in our business model canvas journey. There are 2 types of customers for Flickr. One is casual users who click a snap here and there and then try to upload it on their website. Okay, and then high volume users. High volume users are those who have a big store of photographs, such as some among you who have an interest in photography. Let's say you went to Morena and you took pictures of these nice beautiful temples, and then you created an album which is probably more than a GB because of the resolution that you use. So these are high volume users, and like that you have many different albums for many different adventures you've been on, right? And you want to upload them on Flickr. So 2 types of users are casual users and the other one is high volume users. For casual users, Flickr is providing free basic photo sharing. Okay, so you simply have an account which is for free. You don't have to pay anything, and you get to upload certain number of photos, or not number, I would say, size in terms of number. And second value proposition is premium photo sharing. There are additional features in this, okay, such as you might be able to edit, you might be able to put on filters, and you might have more volume. Okay, there's a limit to that also. Above that, you have to keep on increasing the fee you pay to are they connected via revenue streams? We looked at revenue streams yesterday. Revenue streams have asset sale as one type of income that companies generate, subscription, rental income, okay, IP related stuff, licensing fee. Yeah. So for free basic photo sharing, there is free limited basic account that you get. That is a revenue stream. But is there any money in that? Free. You still represent it in revenue streams because it's also part of the model, but there's no income generated in that pipeline. The other one is annual subscription for professional account. So this is a subscription based model. It's not pay per use, right? And that is connecting, the subscription based account is connecting high volume users with premium photo sharing. This is how you connect your blocks. When you connect your blocks, it gives you visibility, it is transparent, you can explain it to your colleagues, you can explain it to your investors as a startup company. So that's the reason why it is very essential, and also it keeps things tighter. You know exactly who is your customer and how you are gaining revenue from your customer. It's okay to have customers who are casual users and using it for free. Okay. Now, shall we spend some time connecting the blocks at the beginning, or shall we move this to a little bit later? Once the heat is gone, then we can spend time altogether on the blocks. What would you prefer? Do it now or a bit later?
So we can do it later. We'll connect all these later.
Perfect. Perfect. Okay. We'll step into other remaining 3 core blocks, and then load up all our time to focus on the canvas later on. So the next block is key activities. Okay, these are the most important things that your company does, okay, to make the business model work. Starting here, what are your key activities as a business?
So buying new cars, then storing them in garage, in case they're not in use, and then we also need to have a website maintenance, for a smoother interface. We need to make sure that there is no glitch in the website. In case there are customer queries coming up, we need to resolve them as well.
Very good. I was afraid that you were not touching on the last part, but last part is the first part. Your core activity is to maintain your platform and app. That is where you load all of your effort. Buying and selling comes a little bit later. Okay, the strategic partnerships with showrooms or manufacturers. First, you come up with the app. You try to match demand with supply. That is when you form relationships. You should have equally good relationship with your showroom as much as you have with your customers ultimately. Okay, so the effort is loaded on building this app. That is the single biggest chunk of work that you do, intellectually speaking, developing this app. What are your key activities as a business?
So first we develop our website and app, and then we collect data of products which we are onboarding on them.
Okay.
And then we talk to nutritionists and doctors, source them to onboard on our platform to guide us and provide the customers for the diet plans and
Yeah. So your key activity is also in the very beginning of this venture. You are gathering a lot of data. You're building this database. You're trying to retrieve information from this database in a way that is quicker, that is efficient, that is user friendly, and you're creating all these templates to display the data. You're creating a user interface. This is again a lot of software development involved. These are your core operations. Once you develop core activities, you still have to maintain this. You keep on changing it from time to time. The user friendliness of this app or website should keep on increasing. Okay, the ability for customers to interact with this web-based application has to be very seamless and smooth, right? So again, you're spending a lot of time on managing this app. Plus, what are you going to do? You are then venturing out into finding out who are key influencers here, who are experts here, and how can we capture more information in the form of videos or blogs or snippets of information or motivational whatever quotes, and push them nudge your customers. You know, nudging, keep on sending some messages time to time to invoke some stimulus. Right?
Customer relationship.
Very good. You, what are your key activities?
Development of the app.
This would be an app development.
App development, yeah.
And second would be creating a video, YouTube videos, then some social media pages to connect it for the giving feedbacks and reviews.
Spreading awareness among the customer. Will be one thing that we have to do to make them shift from the traditional shopping mode to the modern retail solution.
Yeah. What effort will you spend in doing that versus the time you spend on developing this functionality to scan and pay at the same time?
So there will be a software development, and
Yes.
after that there will be a database also where we can store all the data of those barcodes.
Yeah.
And we are also focusing on going to focus on the maintenance of this, so that there will be every month maintenance, so that there will be no issue related to the app.
Unbothered?
Sir, our very important thing we do is continuous feedback. Because of that, we improve our UI experience or development of app and the booking experience, smooth app experience.
But
And
initially you have to develop the app.
Yes.
That will be a core activity. Then feedback comes later depending on the volume of customers you have, volume of trade people who register on your website. You are not different to any of these three. All of you are spending your time and effort and your resources on building this app. You are creating a platform. All of you are creating a platform here. We'll come to that a little bit later. After that you can fine tune that app. For you also data is important. What data is important for you? All the data that Just Dial holds. All registered plumbers in that area, all registered
Technicians, electricians.
yeah, professional shoppers in that area. I think we'll hear more of this going forward. I'm a professional shopper. We have never heard this before, have you? Professional shoppers might need to conduct themselves in a certain way that they have a exact time window where they go and shop, particular shops they go to, and particular criteria they apply to buy clothes or buy other items, right? They might need to have collaborations with shopkeepers to get better discounts. This is going to open up a different kind of possibility altogether, right? There are few people in shops who are shopping and many people who are enjoying in the back end as a result of this shoppers. Interesting. But all of you regardless are platform-based businesses. Right. So some of the key, some of the business models have production as their key activity. What is production? Manufacturing, right? So take up any item, physical item that you can touch and feel, that you can drop on your foot, okay, is a product of manufacturing. Anything that you see, including your notepad, including your pen, right? So it can take the form of a car, it can take the form of a bottle of cola, okay? So these are all production operations. You're very well, aware of what happens in production environments. They take raw materials, they process it, and then they turn it into output that is fit for purpose for customers, okay? Next kind of business models have problem solving as their key activity, okay? Think of business models where the job that customers want is a particular problem solved, and the service or product that the company is providing is
So consultancy.
consultancy. Any more?
So interior designers, like the way we architects.
Okay, good. Others? Consultancies. Any more? What do you consider yourself as? Some of you are solving problems for others. Are you solving problems for others? This takes the form of advice. Advice that comes from knowledge and expertise which was gained over years of experience, and also comes from educational qualification. Lawyers need to have a certain level of educational qualification in order to practice law, okay? They need to get a license from the bar, okay? Management consultants, on the other hand, do not need license, but they gain a lot of experience through apprenticeship, through an MBA from a good university like that of yours, okay? And they are chartered accountancy, yeah, accountants, right? Architects, building surveyors. Yesterday, Gyan Prakash sir was showing me about the whole map of this university, where the new buildings are coming up, where old buildings are, where the pipelines are for water, for sewage, and all that. I was just asking, how did you get this done? We paid an external consultant who's an architect or planner. Give this to us, okay? We can just mute it. I'll try and mute it. Thanks. So, this is all part of solving problems. And what is the core ingredient for solving problems in these organizations? Knowledge. These are also called knowledge intensive organizations, as opposed to capital intensive organizations. You need a lot of capital, money, to invest into these factories or the production setup. There's a lot of fixed cost involved. If I ask you to set up a university tomorrow, it doesn't happen in a day. If I ask you to set up a consultancy firm tomorrow, you can go and register one and start solving problems for your clients. Okay. So whatever raw material that production companies are using, whatever premises they are using to turn those or transform those raw materials into output, is all happening in the human body. Receiving the query, processing it, and then providing an advice. These are knowledge, and there is a whole body of literature in management about knowledge-intensive organizations. These are also called professional service firms. Professional service firms are consultancies, law firms, okay, accountancies, doctors, expert doctors, consultants, auditors, investment bankers, excellent. Yeah. These are all professionals. Professionals need a certain level of qualification, some reputation, okay, deep knowledge about that subject. They are autonomous people. So it's hard. The paradigm of managing professionals is harder compared to environments where there is a lot of command and control. In production environments, you can feel that people still go in uniforms, khaki uniforms in production environments. There is a hierarchy. There is a power distance between manager and the operative, okay, or operator, right? So knowledge-intensive firms are those which use a body of knowledge to provide advisory. So is anyone providing knowledge-intensive services here in the 4 groups? Drop.
Our premium model is doing that. We are onboarding nutritionist and doctor. So we are preparing the dietary plan of our premium subscriber as per the needs.
But all of you are doing knowledge-intensive work in the front end, especially when you are developing this database and then the application that sits on it, and then managing this application is all knowledge-intensive work. But that does not translate into advisory to solve problems of your customers, right? So this is where you kick in. You are operating a platform or a network that joins up people on either side in order to provide services. Okay. Some of the key activities that you will be involved in is building the platform, managing that platform, providing services. So if you take the case of Unburden, providing services means you're managing the platform as if you have customers on one end and service providers on the other end, right? And you're making sure this transaction is happening smoothly through your app, right? And service provision is you're also ensuring that each job is done and there is some monitoring. They take a OTP code before they enter, or even before that you check their DBS here you call it whatever, FIR, previous
Previous
record. Okay. You're ensuring they go to the premises, there is a certain way they approach them, certain manner in which they greet them and deliver the service, and then hand over whatever is required and then quit. Okay? So all of these are happening through your platform services, right? Who is doing the shopping? Okay. So in the seamless shopping experience that you are aiming for, what is platform management? Okay, imagine you have this software application which sits on a phone, or it can be web-based, right? And you have shoppers on one hand, and you have grocery stores on the other hand. Okay, so they have to be integrated. So how do shoppers start using your app? They install that app, okay, and do they get seen nearby grocery stores based on their location? Which
So actually, so we are saying that so there will be a QR code scan for that particular supermarket. That when the customer enter, he or she will going to scan that QR code, and after that the details of that only shop is going to open.
And what happens once they go into the shop? Again, the app will be guiding them, isn't it? In terms of, I think you and you, who's nutrition, you both can integrate at some point. You can form a partnership. I'll talk about partnership after this. You can form a strategic partnership where you are sharing data. Whatever your customer scans to buy, you can show them from your app whether that is nutritious or not.
Yes.
How about that? Yes. We'll talk about that in the next few slides. Your customers, okay, who want shopping done, okay, and your service providers who are volunteers registered on your, or gig players registered on your platform, can use that app, can provide extra service to old age people saying this is more healthier than that product and that is why we bought this. What are we doing now? We are trying to aggregate services at a meta level, okay, a level that is above where activities happen. We are talking about activities and operations. A level above where operations happen is the meta level, okay. That is only from back-end support. It is not visible to the customer, okay, but you are providing an ultimately more sophisticated service to the customer, giving them more than what they require, okay. So platform-based businesses are things like eBay, PayPal, Amazon, right? And Google, such as yourself. Uber is also a platform-based business. Just Eat is also a platform-based business. You don't have Just Eat here. Zomato and Swiggy. Yeah. So probably you all fall into this side of the activities. Activities are nothing but operations, okay? Group of activities can be called an operation. We are breaking it to the bare bones and trying to understand how individual activities can influence a company's performance altogether. And once we go back to innovate, then activities become lean activities, okay? There is a value side to the canvas, and then there is a cost side. This falls into the cost side. How can you really improve and streamline your activities in order to make them very cost effective so that you can pass on that leverage to your customer as reduced price? What questions do we ask in key activities? Just simply, how much do our activities probably cost is a different question, but where do we have a lot of these activities to perform in reaching out our value propositions to the customers? Are we spending time on distribution channels? Are we spending more activity and effort on building customer relationships, okay, or developing revenue streams? again, do the same activity as if you are looking at a business with this lens, okay? Take this lens and use it as a way to understand any given business that you come across and see what are their key activities. It all makes sense. We call them core operations in general business terms, calling them activities here. Let's take a look at block 8. I don't think we'll take long between these blocks. So we have 8 and 9 to complete. So let's plan them. By 10:45, okay, roughly about half an hour's time, we will have completed this. From 10:45 onwards until 11:15, half an hour, I'll come around to check each one of your canvases and see whether you started connecting them or not. Okay? You can use simple arrows that you drag and drop from mural to connect your individual blocks, right? Before then, let's complete block 8 and block 9. So block 8 is about key partners. Okay, key partnerships, again, they tell us where you collaborate with in terms of your network and suppliers and other partners to make your business model work. Okay, and there are 4 different types of partnerships that you can make. Strategic alliances between non-competitors. Okay, I'll give you examples for each of these. Co-opetition is about strategic partnership between competitors. Okay. Joint ventures to help develop new ideas or bring to the market new products. And buyer-supplier relationships to assure continuous or reliable supply of goods. Let's start with this strategic alliances, okay, between non-competitors. So this is where businesses try to find synergy, right? Although they are operating in a different line of service or product or a business altogether, they can form a joint venture. They can form an alliance or a partnership in order to help each other. So I think Tata has a strategic alliance between themselves and Starbucks, okay, in India. Does anyone know of this?
Yes. Yes.
How does that work basically? Tata has a market penetration, and Tata is a very well-known name in India. Okay, they know probably where to sell. Starbucks is new to the market. Starbucks has a very tried and tested product, popular, whatever beverages they sell. It is a world renowned company, and they formed an alliance in order to find these right spots and go-to-market strategies in order to deliver these products or services to customers in India. Okay. Maybe they even offered some of their space to set up shop. What about strategic partners between competitors? Both of these players are in the same game. Okay, provision of telecom services to customers in India. They have an agreement to share the infrastructure, such as their towers or optical fiber cables or submarine cables. Okay. And by doing so, they can reach out to wider masses, and it's a win-win for both of them. There is some tariff sharing agreement between them, or some fee sharing agreement, whatever it is, but they reach out to the entire continent. It's very hard to find a place without signal now. Earlier it was the opposite. Okay, but still that part of the building is a little blinky in terms of the signal, right? You might need another booster or amplifier or whatever. Who among you is telecommunications pro? Who studied telecom? Anyone studied telecom? Signal, noise, dissipation, amplification, right? Okay, so Reliance Jio and Airtel have partnered to share their telecom infrastructure, right? So that's one way you can, although you're competitors, you can share your infrastructure. Now, you both are not competitors, you are complementing each other, right? You're not competitors. So if you are not competitors and you are working with each other, what is it called?
Alliance between
Strategic alliance. Who else can you partner with? Can you partner with anyone?
So showrooms, showroom owners. car showroom dealers.
Okay.
So maybe it is tourism मतलब एक company should be
Tourism companies. Very good, very good.
travel sector
Yeah.
making high competitors.
See, there is, you're always thinking about individuals who are going to buy your cars, who have a need. Think about fleet management companies who have a set of cars, like a tourism company, okay, or cabs, or bigger institutions like this one, who need a fleet of cars. Hotels.
Events or
So that marks only true value. We cannot use cars.
Who is it?
So true value is
True value.
to say buy old cars.
old
Okay, true value. Okay. Yeah, end of life after 5 years, then you can partner with them.
Yes, sir. So because otherwise the whole concept of co-ownership will go if we provide rental services also. So we were thinking like if we have a spare car in case we don't have a fourth partner, in that particular case we can provide some and there is some emergency booking. In that particular case we can provide some rental services also. But otherwise the whole concept of ownership will not remain if we provide just spare cars to everyone in a similar to how cabs operate in India.
Yeah. Another key value proposition for your firm, for your platform will be use of clean cars. When you're transitioning from one person to the another, one family to the other, they need to, find the car very clean, free of dents,
Yes, sir.
any visible marks. Performance should be as good. So you can tie up with garages, and you can tie up with
workshops.
workshops, body shops,
Service stations.
service stations. Yeah. Think about where you can gain some leverage in order to provide more value-added service to your clients. So joint ventures, again, when companies are trying to enter into newer geographies, okay, such as Suzuki was entering India. Indian government, which used to own Maruti Udyog Limited, formed a joint venture with Japanese company called Suzuki in order to bring to market these new cars, Maruti Suzuki. Okay, still now Suzuki owns, I think, the majority share, more than 50%. Right? So that's kind of joint venture. But in your businesses, which you are operating as a startup, you might not need a joint venture, but you might have investors, different forms and shapes, like angel investors, okay, who might come and provide you necessary cash flow to operate. They might not be a business, they might be operating as individual investors, but you still require some source of funding in order to kickstart your operations. Okay, so this is for very capital intensive ventures where there is a greenfield investment. You're building something from scratch. Brownfield investment is already existing setup.
Systems.
You're trying to replenish it and refurbish it and use it for your own purposes. Okay. Is there any other field apart from greenfield and brownfield? What about buyer-supplier relationships? Where are we now? We are in partnerships, aren't we? Partnerships is the 8th block. Do not lose track of where we are, okay? So in partnerships, we are in the 4th type of partnership, which is about you are trying to form a good relationship with your suppliers or buyers to maintain the flow of goods or services throughout. Think about Amul, which is like a cooperative where there are many different distributed producers of milk or other dairy products. They all come together and provide their service or product to Amul, which then transforms it into different other dairy products. Okay, so what is that? Sorry.
So integration back from the following.
Yeah, vertical integration. Is that what? Yeah. So this is not even integration basically. We'll come to that in a second. But this is about having good relationships with your suppliers. What happens if your suppliers have more bargaining power over you? Have you studied the Porter's 5 forces?
Yes.
Yeah? What are the 5 forces? Bargaining power of suppliers?
Buyers.
Buyers.
Threat of
Set of substitutes and
Right.
rivalry between competitive rivalry. Okay. What happens if your suppliers are very few, and if they hold a higher bargaining power?
Cost, profit margin.
Yeah, our costs will go up because we have to agree to their terms, because we have no alternatives. Right? What about if you have many different suppliers giving you raw material from, or sending you raw material from many different places? Your bargaining power is higher, and you can negotiate stronger deals, still maintain continuous supply. So you do not put all eggs in one basket, which means if the basket is dropped, all eggs are gone. You distribute your risk. Okay. In this case, Amul has better bargaining power. Okay, they can determine the price of products at which they buy, quality at which they buy, the fat content of the milk that they buy at. Okay. In your own businesses, think about where you can form this kind of buyer-supplier relationship. Who are your buyers and who are your suppliers? Think about it for 2 minutes. Who are your suppliers?
So car dealerships and banks, because banks will only provide us the insurance services.
Yeah.
So they both are the most important ones.
And also provide you sort of loans you might take quickly for loans. Insurance companies are separate to banks. Bank insurance companies are different. Who are your buyers are obviously your end users. Are they buyers? They are not buying the car from you, they are buying the service from you. They are your subscribers, you can call them. Your buyers are your subscribers. This is, isn't it? Okay. How can you form a strategic relationship with your suppliers?
So we can build a community wherein the shopkeepers who will be using our product can connect and get the knowledge of what kind of products are being sold in at other marketplaces.
So here we have to clearly understand this distinction. You are the focal point in the supply chain, okay? You are at the center. On your right hand side you have upstream, where you are getting some supplies, turn them into output. So you are for them you are the buyer. For you they are your suppliers. On your left hand side you have downstream operations, which is your buyers are there. For them you are the suppliers. Okay. So we are talking about buyer-supplier relationship. Relationship between you and your supplier, buyer-supplier. Relationship between you and your buyer, supplier-buyer. Okay. This relationship is what I'm talking, not joining them to. They won't be joining, they won't be visibly evident in the service you're providing. Okay. So how you maintain relationship between yourself and your suppliers, yourself and your buyers. Okay. So you might have a strong software application that can forecast demand like Uber has. It knows when the cricket match is happening, they have data of that, which is very simple. It knows when it is going to rain and when people might need a taxi. Okay. It might know when our holidays, any events going on in the town center.
So university exams.
Exams. People might running in the morning to catch it.
It happens in Delhi
Delhi?
university exams.
Good. So if you have strong forecast ability for understanding demand, your algorithms are good enough, then you can dynamically price the product. Okay. And you can have such kind of relationship with your suppliers. You know when you need more, you can tell them when you need more, and you can form multiple relationships with different suppliers rather than put all your eggs in one basket. Okay. Similar with buyers. Okay. It might be probably festival tomorrow and they might need some chores done at their place. There might be a spike in demand for which you need to be able to cater to. So you might need more volunteers to sign up before Diwali, for example. Okay. So what is the motivation for partnerships there are different types of motivation for partnering with other organizations. One of them is optimization and economy of scale. What is economy of scale? Anybody? Let's say this is an interview question. Put it simply, what is economy of scale?
Large scale.
The cost will.
Large scale.
Okay.
So when we produce more and more, the cost will.
Very simply put, when you produce more, your costs come down because there are setup costs or fixed costs. Whether you produce one item or 100 items, it's more or less the same. Okay, I always ask this question: what is the price of this mobile phone?
1,30,000.
Okay, but I'll give you 1,30,000. Can you manufacture a phone for me like that? After reaching economies of scale, the price of this phone is 1 lakh. Before reaching economies of scale, what is the price of that phone?
Maybe 3-4 lakhs. Maybe.
A few hundred crores or more. Yeah. How much? You have any comments, sir? Okay. No.
Entire setup cost will be its cost.
Yes. What is the entire setup cost? You need a factory. You need to have agreements with people like R&D, experts, chip manufacturers, assembly, your Gorilla Glass manufacturer, whatnot. Yeah. Your chimpanzee chip manufacturer. Yeah. Okay. So there's so much going on, right, behind the scenes. Before you buy any mass market product or any consumer electronic product, they need to hit that economies of scale, forecast it in such a way that they get their return on investment ultimately. What is that tipping point called? Break even point. Okay. After that, when you start making profits. So, in order to gain economies of scale, you partner with people. So, for example, Apple iPhone is designed in California but manufactured in China. Soon we might see it is manufactured in India also. Okay. Why are they partnering with other manufacturers like who manufactures? Foxconn manufactures. The designer is Apple. Apple holds all the rights of the technology. They only simply assemble it. That is a kind of partnership, isn't it? They pay them a fee for manufacturing one phone or bulk phones. Why do you choose between making versus buying? This is a make or buy decision. Okay, whether to make it yourself or outsource it. Why do you outsource generally? Production. There are many factors. There is a paradigm called Dunning's eclectic paradigm, which is about this international business topic. If you have time, read about it. The decision to manufacture versus decision to outsource comes from several different factors. Sometimes it is to do with what is your core competence. Your core competence is design, not manufacturing. Why would you want to manufacture? There are some other players who can manufacture it much more efficiently at a cheaper price and fastly. You'd rather let them make it for you. You just buy expertise. Manufacture. Banks. Okay. A lot of call centers that we have here are for banks outside India, such as NatWest Bank or Lloyds Bank or Bank of America. So why banks collaborate with people in India, companies in India to run a call center for them?
To reduce the cost.
Workforce cheaper. At the same time, workforce is competent enough. We all speak English and can provide support. Okay, technical support also. And because of the time zone difference, overnight if somebody wants a problem solved, then they call it. It's daytime. Okay. Another motivation for partnership is reduction of risk and uncertainty. Okay. So this is a bit of an archaic example. I don't know how many of us use this Blu-ray discs. We can replace this with another better example. Okay. So companies can form alliances, they come together, although they are competitors, to promulgate a new technology. Okay. So Blu-ray disc is about stacking more memory and high definition playable capability into a disc. And in order to develop this protocol technology, different players came together. Okay. You can simply replace this with other examples. Do you have any such examples where develop new technology, competitors came together?
So like the development of EV vehicles, Tata Motors and Mahindra came together to develop because they were not Tata was having the expertise, but the infrastructure was provided by Mahindra.
But that was called off,
Yes, sir.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
In 2020, I think they came together. It was called off. Interesting, very good example. How did you know about this? Really?
So I studied in strategic management.
Yeah. What else?
Vodafone idea.
Think about things that are universal for everyone, such as telecoms, protocol-based exchange of data, World Wide Web. Who owns World Wide Web? Another motivation for partnerships is acquisition of particular resources and activities. So, we talked about Rolls-Royce yesterday, right? Airlines companies are not engineering companies, they are service-based companies. Okay. Service-based companies, they want to fly their aircrafts from A to B to carry their passengers. Passengers are their customers. In order to maintain the aircraft, they have to hire engineers or employ engineers, which is another overhead for them. Okay. It is not in their area of expertise. They are very good at streamlining passenger operations or airline operations, which is a service, mass service, but they are not good at engineering. So simply they are buying this expertise by partnering with Rolls-Royce. How they are paying them? By the hour. Okay, every hour they use the engine power, they are paying. Android. What is happening with Android? Is it open source? Who owns Android? Are you sure?
Google.
So, most of the phones that you are using now, let's say Motorola, Samsung. Did Samsung develop Android? Did Motorola develop Android? They're still using that operating system by partnering with the original developer. Okay, that is one way you partner with companies for particular resources and activities. Google Labs. Google phone, which is called Pixel.
Yes, sir.
Does it use Android?
Yes.
And every new feature in Android is first released on
It has some exclusive.
Google Pixel.
Yes, sir.
Only then later you get to use it. That is their sort of competitive advantage in a very Red Sea market. Red Sea market is all the sharks are fighting. Okay. Still, the software is accessible by other companies, but a little older version of that. So these are some questions that you want to ask when you're thinking about partnerships. Who are your key partners, key suppliers? Okay. What are the resources we are acquiring from our partners? And what are the activities our partners perform for us? Okay. Again, think about examples of who are partners for an example business that you are examining. Okay. Now, we'll go to cost structure, right? and finish it off as quickly as we can to spend more time on our, we're still on time, good. So cost structure is another very important building block. This talks about or explains what are the costs that are incurred in running our business model smoothly. Okay. So all other building blocks require some costs, right? You have to think about creating a good value proposition to your customers. It requires some activities. Activities require costs. Key resources require costs. Okay. Maintaining a channel requires costs. Managing customer relationships, you need to spend some money on marketing and managing other media. You require costs. Okay. Even for managing your revenue streams, which means that we have a subscription fee. It comes through bank, wire transfer, or through some other channel. For that also you need to pay a certain amount of fee. Okay. Business banking has a fee, regular fee, right? Tying up with partners also comes at a cost. So cost structure is at the bottom of all of this. It is like a base pillar which holds your business model together. So there are different types of cost structures. One is cost-driven cost structure, which means that your products and services are basically competing against other players based on how much you can produce it at. So we don't say price competition, we say cost competition, because it is very obvious that if you manufacture it at a very low cost, then obviously your product will be priced at a lower amount for your customers. So examples are Indigo, Ryanair, all low cost airlines. Okay? No frills airlines. And they are cost leaders in their own market. When you attain to cost leadership, it means that you will have done something very different against your competitors, which means that you have low production costs for your product, or low costs for servicing your customers. You have streamlined your operations thoroughly. You use cheap quality materials which just get the job done probably. A lot of the times, that's what I think yesterday's Nano example was telling us, right? It's a low priced car but not a cheap car. But there were very other odd examples of this car burning on the roadside, lack of safety features. A crash in a Nano can be very fatal. Value driven. Okay. What is value driven cost structure? You're probably in a niche market. You're providing a premium value product to your customers, and you're not worried about streamlining your costs. For example, in luxury hotels, although every customer requirement is different, okay? There is so much variability in the way you provide service to each customer. You're still fulfilling that, but you're charging an extra price for each of these, extra premium for each of these. So your cost structure can be about providing at most value to your customers to attract them over and over, as opposed to making cheaper products. Okay? And the distinction is very obvious and clear. For cost-driven structure, you are more or less operating in a mass market like the Indigo jet. Okay? For a value-driven structure, you are operating in a niche market. Okay? And the characteristics of your cost structure in your business is: one, you have fixed costs that are the same despite the number of products you manufacture. Okay? How many ever goods or services you produce, fixed costs are the same. We touched upon this already. I'm just trying to take you through over. So these include salaries, the space that you rent out, okay, and the physical manufacturing facilities or the machines that you use. Okay. So these are capital intensive businesses. In your own businesses, what is the cost? What cost do you have?
The fees we are paying to showroom engineers.
Okay.
So the development of website itself will require web engineers and cybersecurity engineers. So that cost will be there.
Yeah. You might have to
Maintenance costs.
maintenance, you might have to license out this software or
Yes, sir.
some cloud provisions. You need to pay regular subscription for them.
Yes.
You have two-way subscription. One is subscription income, the other one is subscription outgoing. Yeah. And finally, variable costs. Variable costs are, if you want to produce more, you need more raw material. Okay. If you want to produce more, you need to make your labor spend more time. Pay for their time. Okay. Everything will be changing depending on the volume of your production. Okay, that is your variable cost. We touched upon economies of scale already, right? So I think I covered these slides earlier. Even for manufacturing a simple product like if you want a sugarcane juice, okay, you need a sugarcane machine to crush it, right? To buy a sugarcane machine, let's say it costs 10,000 pounds. First glass of sugarcane juice is 10,001 rupee, right? If that sugarcane juice producer is decided to sell only one glass of juice, then he should price it just about 10,000 rupees. Okay. Just because there are economies of scale, they can produce more with the given equipment. They can bring it down to a point where once they break even, they can sell it at any giveaway price. Okay. So that is economies of scale. Think about whether you can achieve economies of scale in your business. Your app development costs, your platform maintenance cost, should break even, and you should start delivering your services at a very, very lower price. And perhaps think about other streams of revenue, so that you keep in touch with the mass market always, which is a cash cow for you, and also you're providing diversified services to niche customers. And we call that the long tail. We'll discuss about the long tail shortly. Okay. Economies of scope is you're producing different types of items, not the same mass market product. Okay. In the long tail, this is the tail. Okay. The head is the previous mass market product, economies of scale, and this is economies of scope that you gain as cost advantages based on large volume and variety of operations. Okay. So, for example, let's say you are a consumer electronics manufacturer. You produce TV, you produce fridge, you produce air conditioner, you produce an oven, microwave oven. So marketing costs probably more or less the same for these, because you have to find right kind of retailers and push your market. We see this, right? Samsung TV is there, Samsung whatnot, other items are there. Marketing you're gaining from just touching base with these retailers, or you're actually advertising your brand name rather than the product itself. Okay, so you gain some economies of scope, which is to cover a variety of products that you are selling. What are the questions to ask in cost structure? Where are we spending our money? Okay, what are the most important costs for our business? Is it the platform maintenance? Is it partnerships with these volunteers, or is it partnership with the ultimate customer, or aggregator type of a platform where you have many businesses who are feeding into your business model? Okay. Which resources are more expensive? Which activities are more expensive? And depending on that, you can then streamline them further. You might cut down on a few activities, cut down on a few resources. Instead of buying it, you can outsource it yourself to others. That is when aggregation happens between two business models. So that is the sum total of 9 core building blocks. Okay. If you have any questions regarding that, we can discuss when I come to you individually. But I think that is pretty much clear. Okay. So that is the foundation stone for our business model innovation. Right? Once you populate all of these 9 core blocks and come to a state where you're comfortable with, this is my offering to the client, these are my key activities, this is what this is who I'm going to partner with, this is the cost structure for me, I price the product at this level, and put together all my revenue streams, then you can think of coming up with better ideas for improving your business model. Okay? So we have roughly hit the halfway point in our module now. Okay. From now on, we will have a very good baseline for our business model upon which we start applying techniques and frameworks to improve it. See, learning this in 5 days is quite ambitious. Okay, but getting the gist of how businesses come to being, okay, how they start up, how they think, what is the theory behind coming up with better business models. This is what we take away from this lecture, a series of lectures. It's not that we are refining our business model to a point where it is go-to-market state or ready to launch, but you can still take that up, move forward, try and test it, should still work by ironing off some of the issues. And I'm here to provide some feedback in the next couple of days to iron off any niggles in your business model and bring it to a state where we're all comfortable with it. Okay. I think at some point in your MBA course, you will have to do this. Okay. Do you have group work anywhere in any of the modules?
So it's there, but it is more of research oriented and not in this format.
Okay. But then this will really help. Yeah. Maintain good notes. Try and acquire that book. Okay. Spend some time going through these frameworks. It will really help make sense of all the different topics that you learn in MBA throughout all semesters. So what we are going to do now, we are 10:45. Next half an hour before we break up for tea, I want you to focus on your business model canvas. Okay. Try and connect the blocks. If you haven't done the remaining 3 blocks for today, never mind, you can do it later. But we are focused on connecting our value proposition block with customer segments via revenue streams. Let's try and do that now. Okay. So apply this principle when you are using the post-its. Then it becomes all neat and clean. Okay. And for example, in your value propositions, you cannot have any items that are not connected to customer segments block. These are called orphan elements. Okay, that are hanging around without any relationships. You cannot have orphan elements. Everything should be connected tightly to the element in customer segments via revenue streams. Sometimes revenue streams can be a free revenue stream, still connected. Okay, but carry on, keep good going actually. So which should I snap X? Tell me one value proposition, one key value proposition, and one customer segment.
Clear guidance provided.
Customization, we have online payment.
They can customize the policy how they want.
We have other customers that are very conscious want to track their monthly expenses.
Yeah. And revenue streams? Is it subscription or is it
So we are not advertising can be done based on primary collector after consumer who are buying the product.
I'll let you present this tomorrow. This that you presented yesterday. I want you to present your detailed canvas. What about unburden? What is your value proposition?
Yes.
Pains and gains? I looked at it just now, right?
Z हो गए, न्यूनेस किन किन जो मैटर करते हैं, जेन जी और टेक सैवी, ठीक है, तो टेक सैवी जेन जी है कि बस मुझे देख टेक सैवी
यहाँ से एक पॉइंटर से करना है।
टेक सैवी जेन जी है कि नहीं, तो एक नया ब्लॉग चुना, क्या करना
इसी को डेट मार रहा हूँ।
ऐसा कर तो कॉपी ये ब्लॉग बनाता हूँ,
डेट का तो बैठे
जेन जी
तो ऊपर बताइए।
आप इसे कनेक्ट कर दो न्यूनेस से, एक एक चीज़ कर न्यूनेस उन्हीं को चैट कनेक्ट करोगे देखते हैं कितना मसला
भाई बहुत सही चीज़ है।
तो किस टाइप के पोस्ट में कोलैबोरेट करके ट्वीट करें वो वाला
वो मैं कर दूँगा
न्यूज़
इसमें स्पीकर का ऑप्शन नहीं है
सही है, हटा दे, कंफ्यूजन हो रहा है।
एक सब रिसीव किया हुआ
हाँ सही सही है, कनेक्टेड थोड़ा करेंगे कुछ में दो से
मैंने कमीशन
थोड़ा करेंगे सही है ना, ठीक है।
टेक सर्विस दूसरा परफॉर्मेंस
परफॉर्मेंस है
परफॉर्मेंस के नीचे टाइम बचाना
कॉन्शियसली हेल्थ कॉन्शियस
हेल्थ कॉन्शियस तो है ही सब यूज करना
फिर इसको यहाँ पर नहीं करता था,
ये है गेटिंग द जॉब
उसको ऊपर
ये नहीं हटा दिया
कस्टमाइजेशन कस्टमाइजेशन क्या
पर्सनलाइज रिकमेंडेशन
ये तुम्हारा उसमें
कस्टमाइजेशन मोटी रकम वाली
ये सही तो है, प्रीमियम कस्टमर सही तो कनेक्टेड है कस्टमाइजेशन नहीं, अभी अपन कस्टमर इससे कनेक्ट कर रहे हैं सेगमेंट से।
कस्टमाइजेशन में आ लेंगे
इसमें क्या क्या है,
हाई इनकम वाला कुछ है
ये
Okay, 2 more minutes. We'll just try to wrap up and then go for a break. Come back at 11:30 and then continue our business. Okay? Yeah, wrap it up in 2 minutes. Whatever you're discussing.
ये गूगल वाला पार्ट है वो इसमें सब लग्जरी
Yeah, we can all head to the dining hall to have some tea. Feel free to go to the dining hall.
अपना डिजाइन डिजाइन में रिकमेंडेशन अलग से डालेंगे
मस्त स्पाइडरमैन
Yeah, let's go. Let's finish up and come back by 11:30. Yeah. Make your way. Make your way. I'll follow you.
थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम